Good evening. My name is Ronald, BCU student ID 2017-5313, Kaplan ID CT 0328500. I'm about to submit my presentation for my European Union module LAW6064. I will be attempting Scenario A, Commission versus Denmark. Good evening, Your Honour. My name is Ronald. I am the Advocate General for the European Commission. In the case of Commission versus Denmark, the European Commission has mentioned that Denmark has committed breaches of EU law free movement of persons. Point 1. A new Danish law prohibits all non-Danish lorry drivers from staying in Denmark for more than 3 months. Point 2. A Danish law intended to encourage better family life in Denmark pays a benefit to the married partners of lorry drivers if they travel with them on journeys requiring an overnight stay. This benefit is not available to non-Danish unmarried partners of the EU lorry drivers. Point 3. All non-Danish lorry drivers are subjected to checks on their personal history at the national borders of Sweden and Germany. Denmark has argued that the measure is necessary to detect lorry drivers in Denmark who have a criminal record. Anyone with a criminal record is refused entry. The above rules have been in place for the last 3 years. There have been several discussions between the European Commission and the Danish government. Denmark has stood by these 3 rules and has not removed these 3 rules to date. Even though the Commission is arguing that they are violating treaty rules on free movements of persons. The Commission will show that Denmark has violated the 3 treaty rules on free movements of persons. The Commission is asking for a £20 million lump sum penalty for the last 3 years of infringement, a £3,000 per day fine for every day they keep these rules in place. As Advocate General for this case, I would like to share with the court that the Danish government has been unfair and are in violation of treaty rules for free movements of persons. I would like to bring the court's attention to point 1, where the new Danish law prohibits all non-Danish lorry drivers from staying in Denmark for more than 3 months. Under Article 45 of the TFEU, freedom of movement of workers shall be secured within the Union. Such freedom of movement shall entail the abolishment of any discrimination based on nationality between the workers of member states with regards to employment, remuneration, and other conditions of work and employment. Under Article 45(3) of the TFEU, workers can accept job offers freely, move freely within the EU to accept jobs, live in member states to work, subject to employment laws. Directive 2004/38, Article 21 and 22. Everyone is equal before the law and no persons should be discriminated. Lorry drivers, Danish, non-Danish, are workers. This is clearly depicted in the case of Larry Brown, where it was held that the trainee teacher also qualifies as a worker. Therefore, this new law that prohibits non-Danish lorry drivers from staying in Denmark for more than 3 months should be removed, as it has blatantly breached Article 45(3) of the TFEU. No Danish workers should be discriminated. Under point 2, the Danish law's intention for this is to encourage better family life in Denmark. They pay a benefit to the married partners of lorry drivers if they travel with them on journeys requiring an overnight stay. Well, of course, this benefit is not available to non-Danish unmarried partners. However, Your Honour, I would like to put forth that any benefit offered to any worker should include all workers, Danish and EU citizens. Under Article 7.1 and 2, unlimited right of residence for family members should prevail. This is further illustrated in the case of Netherlands versus Reed, where the definition of a spouse is further explained. Equal treatment must be accorded to all drivers under Article 18. Article 7, Regulation 492/11 spells out that the worker shall enjoy the same advantages as national workers. This is evident in Ministry Public versus Even, where any benefit, whether or not linked to a contract of employment, payable by virtue of an individual having the status of worker or resident on national territory. Another case in question with Florine versus SNCF, France National State-Owned Railway Company. It is held that under Article 7.2, she and her family are entitled to equal social advantage. Now, for point number 3, Your Honour, where it states all non-Danish drivers are subject to checks on their personal history at the national borders with Sweden and Germany. This is evidence of further discrimination against non-Danish drivers. In Directive 2004/38, derogations allow the rights of entry and residence of EU citizens and their families to be restricted only on the 3 grounds. Article 27(1), any derogation must not be based on economic grounds as opposed to policy, security, or health. Under Article 27(2), these measures are taken on the basis exclusively on the personal conduct of the individual concerned. Previous criminal convictions shall not in themselves constitute the grounds for taking such measures. The personal conduct of the individual concerned must represent a genuine, present, and sufficient serious threat at that point of time, affecting one of the fundamental interests of society. In the case of Society for the Protection of the Unborn Child, SPUC versus Gregan, SPUC was granted an injunction to prevent Gregan and other officers of the Students' Association from distributing information on abortion being legal in UK. In Van Jen and Lu's case, this case indicates that the European treaty law has direct effect against member states and that they are directly bound by its provisions. In another case, Her Majesty's Custom versus Schlinder, prohibition is applied equally to all local citizens as well as EU citizens, unless this is proven in the case of Van Duyn and Home Office. Ms. Van Duyn could be denied entry if it was for reasons related to her personal conduct outlined in Directive 64/22 EEC. To sum up, the 3 earlier rules or laws put in place by the Danish government, I put forth to the court that the Danish government clearly violated the treaty rules on free movements of persons for all 3 of the above mentioned points. Based on my findings of Denmark's average GDP for the last 3 years versus the rest of the EU states, I believe the Commission's recommendation for the fine of 20 million in lump sum penalty for the last 3 years infringement and the £3,000 per day fine for every day they keep these rules in place to be fair. With that, I thank the court for your time and would seek the court to proceed with the recommended penalty. Thank you, Your Honor.